Yeah, we got double dip Cajun.
Double dip Cajun.
I give it a 10 out of 10.
Seems to be the wing of choice, and you go with a 10.
A 10 out of 10.
Well, I think these guys know what to order now then, right? Double dip Cajun. That's the way to do it. Thanks, guys.
Ladies, gentlemen, welcome to Moneyball. Another edition here on a rainy Buffalo afternoon. I'm excited to have my main man, Ian Riddick. He knows a little bit about Buffalo rainy afternoons. He is joining us from Dubai. 8-hour difference. He's taking the time here to dice it up. So how are you, man? Thank you so much for coming on.
Bro, it's a pleasure to be here. Things are going well. Ironically enough, living in the desert, we had one of the worst storms last week, probably in the history of the region. Places are still flooded a week later. I don't know if you guys have seen stuff on social media. It was close to like monsoon situation out here.
Please tell me about it, because the only thing I know about storms over there are something you see on TV, right? Where like the guy's running because there's a dust storm coming at him, like Dune and the world's ending. It's apocalyptic. Tell me what a normal storm is like over there.
So in all seriousness, it probably rains 3-4 times a year here. Otherwise, it is sunny and it is warm. It is the desert, bro. It doesn't rain here. But when it does, it rains pretty hard, and it'll rain for about 36 hours of just solid rain.
Okay.
And they do cloud seeding out here, which is where they shoot things up in the clouds to make it rain because they need that precipitation.
Wow, really?
Yeah. So this actual storm that happened last week was a legit natural storm. But I mean, it was, if you go online, go on social media, there's videos of it everywhere. Like the time-lapse videos are crazy because it looks like the end of days.
That's amazing. I'm going to have
in the middle of the day, middle of the afternoon, it is pitch black. There is lightning. It is purple and green, and the rain is coming sideways. People left their cars stranded on the road and stuff. It was crazy.
Sounds like Buffalo in December, right?
Yeah. If it was snow, it'd have been Buffalo.
By now, you would think we would have learned our lesson by now, man. But every year you hear about like 20 cars stranded out on the 90, right? With like, they got no food to eat or something. Like, you know, the guy was just going for it, even though everything was closed. And we had our solar eclipse here, man, a couple weeks ago. Yeah. That was so exciting to get people in the area. We had eclipse parties everywhere. Buffalo, Cleveland, its path was like the totality path. Buffalo was right on the map. This was the place to be. We had millions of people coming in, right? The day before, the Sunday, beautiful. Not a cloud in the sky, just absolutely gorgeous, right? Monday comes, eclipse day. Dude, like so cloudy, terrible. So, you know, the eclipse was at 3:18, I want to say. And we look up, you know, it was a cloudy day. We got a tiny peak of it, right? And then just pitch black. Oh, you know, it was like it was really cool, right? And again, we've made this another show. I don't know how much editing I'll have to do, but pitch black for almost 4 minutes, pitch black. And the cool part was not when it became black, it was when it lit up again. So it was like it was like God's light switch, dude. It was like boom, and it just came alive. And it was like, man, that's what it's like living in Alaska half the year, dude. It was wild. It was wild.
Yo, it was mad cool. I had a little bit of FOMO just because it was nighttime here, so we didn't get any of that on this side.
Tell me what's going on in Ian's world. For the people that obviously don't know, I met Ian 25 years ago, and him and I became friends pretty instantly. He had a real good hookup at Nino's Pizza. Shout out to Nino's. He had a real good hookup at Nino's, man. We'll never forget those good times. But I've been following you since. Ian's lineage is that of, you know, man, athletic royalty. His father played for the Buffalo Bills. His uncle was an NFL athlete. He's got family that were pro athletes, and Ian himself went to Pitt. You played ball, and then from there, tell us your journey, man. Tell us, you know, where everything went.
From there, I ended up in Seattle for a year, on the personnel side of things. So the year the Seahawks played the Steelers in the Super Bowl, that was the year I was there. So still made it to the Super Bowl. I was
nice.
The only family to make a Super Bowl.
Right. Yeah, your dad's gonna love that.
Oh yeah. He missed out on 4 of them. Good job, bro. And then from there, hard pivot, went down to Vegas. Moved in with a friend from Buffalo in Vegas and turned into hospitality.
Okay.
And you know, did nightlife, hotels, restaurants for about almost a decade in Vegas.
Wow.
And then in 2014, moved out here to Dubai. and it'll
Been
be
there
my
that long?
it'll be my 10-year anniversary in Dubai.
The mind blown emoji, man. Wow, you've been out there 10 years. I gotta know. I mean, you're out living the life in Vegas. I know how you were doing it, man, just from word of mouth and seeing it. I mean, celebrities and bottles of the VIP, you were doing things in hospitality. Why the sudden shift? Why Dubai, I guess?
Dubai was incredibly random. A job opportunity came up with a very close friend of mine, and he was only going to take the job if myself and a third friend of ours were able to go with. So
Okay.
he's like, I'll come out there, but I need my two boys with me to
Wow.
make this thing work.
Package
And
deal.
so he was like, do you want to move to Dubai? And let's be honest, 2014, I couldn't have pointed to Dubai on a map, right? A lot of people would have been like, Dubai, sure, let's go.
Is that the truth? You really didn't know where it was.
Straight up. I knew it was over there in the desert,
Yeah.
but over there where I would have had no idea,
Yeah.
right? I was like, yeah, man, I'm in.
I love that.
And people were just like, so what happens if it doesn't work? Or what about, I can move back to the States and get a job in a day.
Right.
Like, there's no doubt.
Thank you. Thank you for even saying that, and for young listeners, like take the chance, man, roll the dice, enter the draft, go play ball, do your thing. You can always fall back on something, like I'm so glad you said that, man. Like you go to Dubai now, okay, so you're a package deal, right? You and your boys are a burrito. The guy gets the job. You go out. I mean, you're flying over. How do you even get your belongings over there? Like just, logistically, I'm thinking about it. How does it even work?
I packed 2 suitcases. I grabbed only the important stuff. Anything else, like I sold everything in my apartment.
Okay.
Right. All my furniture, all my stuff. Anything I didn't need, I put in storage because my brother lives in Vegas. So I was like, put this in the storage spot, take care of this. We can ship it home to mom when the time is right. But I need to get out of here. And I put 2 suitcases together of things I needed that I needed because I was moving out here. So anything else, I just got to start my life here.
Yeah. You just went for it.
It was a clean house situation.
So day one, you arrive, you get off the plane. What'd you do?
Went to McDonald's. First thing we did when we landed, it was late at night. It was probably about midnight or so, and we were starving. The only thing open was McDonald's. That was the first meal
experience. Your first experience in Dubai was McDonald's.
All the things I could have done, should have done, the McDonald's was the only open place at the time.
Do you remember what you got?
Probably a chicken sandwich. Probably a chicken sandwich.
Right? The menus are different?
They have added elements. Fundamentally, everything's the same. Okay. But they might have a meal or two, like instead of having just meal 1 through 8, they might have 9 and 10, and those are going to be a little more locally oriented than anything else, but everything else is still going to be the same.
They'll focus more on maybe if religiously the food or something like that, right? If there's no...
Well, for sure. Like, you're not going to get a bacon cheeseburger out here.
Yeah.
Or you won't it won't be real bacon. It'll be like beef bacon.
Okay. Can you get a bacon cheeseburger, but they just don't have the pork bacon?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
As long as it's not pork. And certain places will tell you, look, we sell pork. If you are Muslim, don't come to this restaurant.
Okay. All right. So they have, you got to there's speakeasies for the bacon.
Bro, let me tell this is the wildest thing. So remember as a kid when you used to go to like Blockbuster or whatever, and they had all the videos. You walk in and you have all the videos and the games over here. And then in the back corner, there's like the adult film section.
Yep, I know. Yep. Oh, yeah.
That's like at the grocery store with the pork section. You walk in the grocery store, they have all the stuff, the dairy, the produce, what have you. And then off in the corner in the dirty little sin bin is the pork section for non-Muslims. And you walk in there, bro, I'm telling you, every time I go in there till date, I feel like I'm doing something wrong.
Right? Like you're stealing.
Like I feel like I'm a dirty old man going into the adult film section.
That is amazing. You got to do Instacart or whatever, and that way, man, right? But then you're putting that person on blast. So they're there, and somebody's got to do it and order like 50 packages of the bacon. So they're over there just.
Bro, every time I go, I'll still get like Italian sausages, or I'll still get bacon if I'm gonna do breakfast in the morning or whatever. So it happens, it does, but it's a funny feeling because you just don't get used to it. You don't get used to going into the naughty area for bacon. Here's
what happens when two friends who haven't caught up in a long time start doing an interview is we've gone nowhere yet, but we're talked about right? We've talked about nothing yet, but I could sit and talk all day about this stuff because it's so interesting to me, man. And I appreciate hearing it. So you went to the McDonald's. Now, the culture difference obviously has got to be tremendous, right? And I know it's a very, very Western area, Dubai, right? And they've adapted, I think, more than maybe a lot of the other Arab nations or Emirates. So let's go into though the whole kind of running career, right? Because I know you're an exceptional athlete, right? And we briefly said, you know, you went to Pitt and again the family history, the lineage, but you got into running. Was that in Vegas or was that when you got out to Dubai?
I absolutely got into running here in Dubai.
Okay.
It was purely coincident, purely by accident. A friend of mine was overweight. He wanted to get back in shape. He was a former athlete. We're about the same age, but he
Okay.
wanted to get back in shape.
Yep.
He knew and was good friends with a couple sprinting coaches out here.
Okay.
So his immediate go-to was, hey man, I can train in the gym on my own, but I want to get some cardio in.
Yep.
I want to start doing some sprinting work. I want to start doing some running work.
Okay.
And he knew he wouldn't do it by himself.
Okay.
So he called up some friends and was like, hey man, I'm trying to better me.
Yep.
I need some support. Will you guys come do these running sessions with me? And from there, we turned it into this monster group of people. We ended up being about 25 people, literally traveling the world and running marathons and stuff together.
Yeah. Okay. Really? Okay.
So yeah, that's the abridged version, and then we can get into the steps and the details if you'd like.
Yeah, I would actually, because so this isn't a Run Dubai thing. So I always kind of pigeonholed it as a Run Dubai thing, right? And I had thought you were with Puma and some other stuff. But again, this is just from me following through, you know, media. You guys then travel outside Dubai with this group and you'll do halves and 27s, right? And you'll just do that everywhere?
So essentially what happened is the group we started was called High Beams.
Okay.
And this was probably 2017 maybe.
Okay.
And one of the members of the group was the marketing director for Puma Middle East.
Okay. So I was right with the Puma. Okay.
So you're absolutely right. So Puma sponsors our group.
Okay. Awesome.
And through that, we were able to. Puma has run crews all over the world.
All right.
They did an event called Rundalism.
Okay.
So we would travel to South Africa and do a South African marathon with several of the other run crews.
That's amazing.
I was fortunate enough to travel to Portugal.
That's amazing.
And we did an awesome run there. We had run crews from Brazil, South Africa, Ukraine, Asia. Super, super cool. A lot of people from all over the place. Turkey has a really cool run crew that came through. And, you know, we did all of these events to where I was now literally I was being flown to places to run marathons and half marathons and throw parties through this group.
And that's
that was
what
an
I-
accident.
And that's what I was going to ask you. So they're flying you out there. This is not on your dime.
No, they're flying us out there. They're putting us up. They paid for everything. I spent money on incidentals, but that's just what it was. Everything else was this was a fully sponsored event. And they made, you know, we have YouTube videos that have 2 million views and different things and such. And it was a wild time that all came crashing to a halt when COVID hit. Well, everybody, obviously, isolation pops off and group activities altogether are squashed. So, you know, we're doing things virtually. We're doing things over Zoom and still kind of training with each other and, you know, getting on treadmills when we can. And if people have home equipment and whatnot, but all of that kind of comes to a screeching halt.
So then the job is, let's recreate this, right? So things get back to normal and we say, okay, listen, man, this was incredible. How do we get back there? So now is that what's in motion now?
So a slight pivot. Last year, March of 23, a friend of mine ran a 100K run in Italy, which is, I mean, the equivalent in miles is probably 65 miles. It's bananas. So him and a friend did a 65-mile run, 100K run throughout the hills of Italy.
That's insane.
And as soon as he came back from that, he was like, I want to do something bigger. I want to do something better. But he wanted to do it here in Dubai because this is where he's from.
Yeah.
So he got a bunch of us together. Was like, look, man, I'm interested in doing 50K in every emirate. And the emirates here are to say an emirate is to say a state.
That's what
right?
I was.
So
Yeah. Okay.
there's seven emirates here in the United Arab Emirates.
Okay.
Dubai is one of those emirates. Abu Dhabi is another one. We have Ajman, Ras Al Khaimah, Fujairah, Sharjah, and Al Quwain. So
We predominantly hear of the two, right? Abu Dhabi and Dubai are the big ones.
yes, correct. Those are the ones. Those are the big ones you're always going to hear about. Currently, Ras Al Khaimah is on the map a lot because the Wynn Hotel is coming out to Ras Al Khaimah, and they're putting up a big hotel and casino there. Gambling in the Middle East, side story. But so we did 7 consecutive 50Ks, one in each Emirate.
Oh, really?
So
you
350.
You guys pulled it off.
Yeah. We just finished it. February 18th was our Dubai run.
Well, first of all, congratulations. But second of all, when you say pull it off, like you can get a couple guys to go run. Like I can get a couple of my friends, we can go run around Carnegie or something. Are you guys saying you're doing it as a promoted event where, it's live with sponsors and your, music and that kind of thing? Or are you guys just doing it more on a personal journey?
So we ended up actually partnering with UNHCR to help support the Sudanese refugees.
Awesome.
So this was something we did as a charitable foundation, right? And we were able to raise enough money to support 800 families.
That is incredible.
Which is the thing I'm the most proud of.
Yep. And that's where I was going with it, man. Like, the cause and effect, and that's number one, heartwarming, dude. But that's incredible that it came from an idea. You have that background, you're a promoter, you know exactly what you're doing in the hospitality promotion world. And they probably lean on Ian quite a bit, right? When it comes to, hey man, how do we get this party done? How do we get this project done?
I have input, right?
Yeah.
And I do have I have a marketing background, but I will say this, I was absolutely not the showrunner on this one. There's a that we ran with, his name is Stefan. He is excellent at this situation. He absolutely nailed this thing. He was the guy that ran the 100K, and his organizational skills, his networking ability, this dude is top tier. And we ended up being sponsored by On Running. So they gave us sneakers, they gave us apparel. They shot content from the time we started training in May all the way through February. And we just last night released a documentary.
So rad. All right. So if anybody wants to check this out, all of these runs from each Emirate were documented?
They were there for the first run, the 4th run, and the 7th run. And we do post interviews, they do training, there's training work. It's a short documentary too. It's no longer than maybe 15, 20 minutes.
That's rad. That's great. That's great. Because I'm going to get that link out.
In that documentary.
Say what? Say that again?
So the whole journey is kind of captured in that documentary from day one to what do we think we're doing until trying to get through it with injuries and mental and physical ailments and the whole line.
I love this, man. They could do, this is a Netflix documentary, really. Like this is really cool. And it's so different. It's so different from everything else that's being shown right now. Like I was getting excited about the Full Swing, the golf or the tennis shows they were doing. But when it came down to it, yeah, they were cool. Or the football one with Kirk Cousins, and everybody loves Kirk because his wife picks out his clothes, right? Well, those shows are great, but they're still scripted to me. They're still scripted. They're just so transparent. Anyone who has that, who can read people or read the stuff, I can still see through the stuff. There's certain things they're not saying. They almost want it to be perceived as if it's, raw, and you can see that. You know what I'm saying? I would like to see the true journey from the 1st, 4th, 7th. I would like to see how grueling it was and how many people maybe went down with injury or whatever. You're talking about the desert. Every one of these runs is in the desert. Like this isn't, you mentioned every demographic or whatever has its own set of hurdles. If you're in Antarctica or Greenland, you're running, in the weather. How do you run, dude? Like I'm a runner. I'll do 5Ks. I've run 2 half marathons. I've never really done a full. But I'm a runner. My wife and I, and we're in that culture. How do you run in the desert? Like I can't run in Florida, man, because it's too hot for me. Are you getting up and going at like 5 a.m. or 4 a.m. or super late at night? Because you can't run during the day, right?
Well, so first off, we chose to do it in February because that's going to be a cool part of the year, right?
The cold part. Yeah. What is the temperature in February?
I guess the relative temperature in February would probably be like 70 degrees in the afternoon.
Oh, that's actually beautiful.
So it's not awful.
That's good running, right?
But we were still waking up and starting our runs at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
Because we needed to be done by about 11:30 because that high noon, you're bro, that sun is leaning. You've been running for 7-8 hours. You're tired. You don't want to do it anymore. That's the last thing you need. So we were trying to get in and get out.
And anyone who's been out there, and I've had a lot of friends over there for all different mix of reasons, most of them not good, but that sun is different out there. You know how people talk about Arizona and the dry heat, Florida and the humid. That's no compare. Like, it's different out there, right? Like it's
So we basically have the Arizona heat and the Florida humidity. Like, Dubai is the combination of both awfulnesses of heat. It is 132 degrees and 90% humidity. You're like, why? Who did this? Like, how did So yeah, the July, August, anytime I have friends that say they want to come visit, I'm saying, don't do it in the summertime, bro. It's not, just don't do it to yourself.
Right. And now, are you predominantly inside then? I mean, are most people inside then? Is there just no going outside in the middle of the day there? I mean, like, I guess walk through a day in the life in Dubai, right? Like, you're now doing a couple different things, right? You're doing some relaxation stuff. I know you always have your hand in five different cookie jars, right? But
have streams. You gotta have several streams.
Well, and that's what makes you and successful, right? But wake up in the morning and run me through kind of with the weather, let's say in July, with the weather the way it is, right? How does it function? How does a normal person function in that heat and just,
Well, so Dubai is a brilliantly created city in several aspects. Certain things they've missed on.
Okay.
Admittedly, they've missed on. But other things, nailed it.
Okay.
This is one of the things they've nailed. You have to really only take about 5 steps outside for any given reason. Like, you can go from air conditioning to car air conditioning to building air conditioning, bus stops air conditioning, metro stations air conditioning. Like, so unless you're going to do something, like, you're not going to go to the beach in July because you're not.
You're just not going to do it.
You're just not. I mean, the water's even warm. Like, you go out in the sea, and the sea is hot and it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But I used to go to work in gym clothes because I knew that if I walked more than 10 steps outside, I'd be sweating.
Right.
So I would go in my gym clothes, take my work clothes with me, and then change at work because it was gross.
You're saying what they've mastered, though, is the AC is everywhere. It's just in abundance.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
And they make it easy to kind of get from place to place so that your exposure time outside is minimal.
Okay. Good transit systems and things like that.
The metro leaves a little bit to be desired, I'll be honest with you. The metro system, but there's taxis everywhere and they're super cheap.
Yeah.
So public transportation, whether it's taxi, whether it's Uber, their version of Uber is Careem. So you have 3 versions of just basic taxi, Uber or Careem. But they're getting around is not difficult. I didn't have a car out here for the first 5 years I lived here.
Okay. Now, is it fair to say Dubai is a melting pot of people and personalities, or is it still predominantly, Arab and Muslim, or is it, from what I was told, a big melting pot, as in you'll walk into a place and you might have 4 African Americans, 3 Germans. Well, we already talked about how they view Americans by color, or not by color and stuff, but a melting pot, as in a lot of different cultures, not so much religion, but a lot of different nationalities.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So the local population in Dubai is about 11%. And then everyone else is from everywhere else.
Really?
So,
wow.
So when I first moved here, the first company I worked for, we had 33 people in our office. And there were 17 different countries and 7 different languages in that group of 33 people.
Wow, yeah. See, that's cool though, man. That's metal. Now, have you learned any different languages?
I haven't fully immersed myself in any of them because you don't use any one particular.
Right. So if there was one,
if there was one, it easily would just be able to hear it over and over.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking.
Like, you've lived in Dubai for 10 years, you don't speak Arabic. I'm like, I don't have to.
Right. Yeah, everyone's speaking American out there predominantly, right?
English is the number 1 language in this country.
Yeah.
But again, you can sit in a group of 5 people and hear English, Arabic, French, Spanish, and not even think twice about it because that's just natural.
The only thing I can remotely compare it to, and I know it's not on that level, but even remotely compare it to, is Toronto, right? Like, Toronto is in the Western world. Toronto is the melting pot. Like, if you go, you've been to Toronto obviously a million times, I'm sure. And when you go, you don't have to go to Little Italy or Chinatown for it to be those places. Does that make sense? So you go to New York City, where you're going to predominantly get those things, or if you go to Chinatown and you're going to, Little Italy's got Mulberry and everything. You go to Toronto, you just walk into a convenience store and you have that all right there wrapped up there. You know what I'm saying? So that's, it kind of sounds like what it might be on steroids though in Dubai, right?
On steroids. It's so great because for me, perspective is incredibly important. And understanding, sometimes you hear, well, they do this and they do that. And then you get involved and you become friends with they and them.
Yeah.
Understand why they do this and they do that. And then it starts to actually make sense. And there's a lot of times where I'm like, oh, I've been doing it wrong my whole life. And then there's a lot of other times where you're like this, nope, we got to figure it out. You guys are screwed up. And so
that is such an contrast. It's such an open-minded, cerebral way of thinking, man. And I got to give you so much credit for that. Like, you and I, like I said, back from the Nino's days, it sounds like we've both done so much growing personally, right? Just personal growth.
You have to.
You have to. And I feel bad for the people that haven't, or that stay so, they just stay locked in a box where they still want to be sheep and follow what other people are doing, man. And, you got to expand your mind. And I'm really, really proud of where you're at and what you're doing with yourself, man. And I mean that truly. What's next for Ian? What's knocking on the door, man? Like, I mean, are you going to stay out there?
I'm here for a while. Well, I'm here until I'm not. I didn't know I was going to be out here for 10 years. Right. So who knows how much longer I'm going to be out here.
Right.
But I think for me, athletically, we're looking to get into some more runs that are going to be a little less distance and a little more fun.
Yeah.
So we might start doing like hikes and trails, or we might start doing some half marathons, but to get it down for time. There's a run in, I think it's either Sweden or Iceland, where they literally run on a frozen lake for a marathon. Like stuff like that that's just so outside the box. Also, I want to get back into boxing.
Okay.
I started boxing a couple years back and I took some time off from it, and I kind of want to get back into it and get in the ring and actually compete at a I mean, still very much so an amateur level, because no one started their boxing career at 43. But I just want to enjoy it and stay physical because it's part of who I am as a person. I have to be active. Otherwise, I'm not.
Listen, that's tremendously respectful, and capitalize the butt there too, man, because there's always an exception to everything, right? Now, I'm not saying you even want to be a professional boxer, but you of all people don't pigeonhole yourself. If you wanted to become a pro boxer at 43, do it, right? I know as well as you do that our bodies start breaking down, right? I'm at the gym 4 or 5 days a week, and at least 1 or 2 of those 4 or 5 days, I'm going, ow, this twisted or that hurt. I got the plantar fascia one day and this and that. Like, our bodies break down. You're in excellent physical condition. I can tell you take a lot of pride in it and take care of your body. I mean, I'm to the point where, I don't drink anymore. I'm really focused on the right things. So as we get older, we obviously want to maintain that. I think what's really unique about your situation, what you guys do, you could literally create this running group that you guys kind of have created in Dubai that goes to all these different regions, and put that on a larger scale where everybody's joining from different regions and then everybody together. You know what I'm saying? It's just a cool concept.
So the group, again, I mentioned the gentleman's name is Stefan, who had initially put this whole group together, the 777 group. We are putting together an uncommon club is going to be the name of it. And it's going to do a lot of things that you mentioned and maybe then some. You know what I mean? So there's going to be a launch of it. There's going to be obviously it's going to start here in Dubai, and there's going to be a lot of really cool things that we're going to do with it. But it's going to help people who are maybe afraid or intimidated by running, and then aid them in getting comfortable, getting the right equipment, the right coaching, all of the above. So there's definitely some really cool things on the horizon with the Uncommon Club stemming from this 777 event that we did.
I love it. And hearing it from you, I know that it's fact, man, because you create something in your brain and you make it happen. This was a pleasure, man. This was great. Which generally does happen. We kind of, we got sidetracked a little bit, but man, it was so great catching up with you. Thanks for coming on the show and kind of letting me into your life a little bit, on a daily, because I feel like I kind of know now what it's like from you on a daily basis, from, you waking up to I'm sure you're leaving out a few little tidbits here and there, right?
I mean, look, this is the sports show, so we're keeping
right on. And it's funny, we didn't talk a whole lot of sports, but listen, this
So
is
we can
part one.
talk life and life because that's a long show.
Yeah, yeah. And maybe this is part one, man. Is the family good? Your uncle's doing well, your dad doing well. Where's
Oh,
home for your dad?
family's good. Father's in Atlanta right now.
Atlanta.
Originally he's Philadelphia. That's where he's from. But he's currently in Atlanta. Uncle's great. He's all over ESPN. Just did a collaboration with Mitchell and S for the University of Pittsburgh to do his own
yeah.
which is wild. I mean, growing up, we all know Mitchell and S are like the throwback gods.
Totally.
A family member have a Mitchell and S collaboration was wild to me.
Yeah.
But he's swamped right now because he's getting ready for the draft.
Yeah.
Obviously he's on the draft show every year, and so that's coming up Thursday night.
Yeah.
I guess it's Wednesday morning for you, right? So it's Wednesday night for me.
Tomorrow. It's tomorrow.
Yeah. So draft is tomorrow night for you guys.
Draft is tomorrow. Yeah. I had a kid on that I just aired. I released it for him Friday or Saturday to get the kid some exposure. He's such a talent. I'm really rooting for him. And then Dylan Kelly, also Jim's nephew, is hoping to come out this year. So, but listen, man, yeah, I'm going to let you fly. Thank you so much. We will definitely keep in touch. Can't thank you enough, man. Sky's the limit, dude. Onward and upward, brother.
Bro, I appreciate you so much. Thank you, man. It's good to see people from the low getting some love. You know what I mean?
I love it, man. Take care, bro.
I gotta take it easy, brother.